In social media. My name is Judson Powell, and it's still early, but I got a lot of stuff to do today, so I got to get stuff done. Anyway, want to talk to y'all a little bit about this whole P-diddy thing, Puffy, Puff Daddy, Brother Love, whatever he calling himself today. Anyway, um, so I want to talk to him about, well, not to him, but to y'all too, and well, to him too, if he gets a hold of this somehow, some way. Um, my problem right now is that this is not the election to be holding, not the presidential election to be holding people accountable. And I don't understand why now all of a sudden it's like y'all speaking out. Nobody spoke out when Trump was running. Diddy ain't say nothing when Trump was running. He ain't come on there and say, "Look, y'all need to go vote." Vote because of the fact that we about to get a white supremacist, white nationalist in the office. And don't sit up there and argue with me because we all know that Bannon, his first chief of staff, Bannon was, ran a white nationalist organization. That's where he came from. So, don't anyway. So it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But now all of a sudden everybody, oh well, we not voting Democrat, we not gonna do this, do that. Look, this is not that election. It really isn't, y'all. And we need everybody to vote and get your boy Trump out of there. We need to get Trump gone. Trump needs to go, okay? Or else we're gonna go straight down this whole thing with the vaccine. I'm just gonna tell y'all where it's gonna go. It's gonna go first of all mandatory vaccines. All right. Second of all, it's gonna go where the economy is gonna get worse and worse and worse, and there's nobody there. Unlike when Bush was there. See, Bush, when the economy tanked during Bush, he was already in his second term, and so it was not that big a deal. But 4 more years of Republican economics, and let me just explain. So that's the whole issue. At this point, the whole issue is just not. Well, first of all, Trump is not presidential at all. He has nothing about him that says he's a president. He's a narcissist. He's a racist. He's a nationalist, and it's not a good fit for anybody. We have lost. We basically have lost everything around the world. Nobody confides in us. Nobody trusts in the United States at all anymore because of the way that Trump's leadership skills are. So we have to keep on keeping on, and we need to get rid of him. So that's why you vote for Biden. The other thing is, all these people now, all of a sudden, they want to, and like I said, politics is a dirty game. Politics is a dirty game all the time. So they're trying to, hash up anything that they can against Biden so that they got some kind of thing. And the same thing they did against Hillary. They kept talking about the emails and Benghazi and all of that. Okay, we get it. But we one thing that we know about the Democratic leadership ever since way back in the day, no matter what all the other stuff was, and they still bothering him about Biden about the crime bill and all that kind of stuff. But the one thing that we do know about Democratic economics is the fact that they intend to have all boats float, meaning that everybody is basically gonna what? Everybody is basically gonna eat and gonna eat good, and more millionaires and billionaires are always made during the times that Democrats are in office. Now here's the problem, and I saw one of my Facebook friends summarize the problem perfectly. It's old money versus new money. So the people with the old money, they want to keep things the way they are. So let me give you an issue. So for example, you have solar energy, solar power, all of that kind of stuff. All right. The people that run big oil and big gas, that have stakes in fossil fuels, they don't want solar around. So remember, I don't know if y'all remember, but when Obama first got in office, Obama was backing a lot of stuff that had to do with solar. Well, the Republicans turned around and they tried to block everything that he did. All right, even down to the point where they refused to invest in companies that were developing solar energy. All right, in fact, they divested from all of those companies that they were in. All right, in order to make Obama look bad. So it's old money versus new money, and that's the problem. Just like, for example, the reason why, and just like it's surprising. One surprising thing to me is like they're not trying to save the post office, but it's not. It is, um, it is logical now that I think about it, because they're not trying to say the post office, because you got Amazon and and eBay and even Walmart and all these companies, they're shipping, so they're doing all the shipping. UPS, DHL, you have huge companies that are doing this shipping now, and now that Amazon has gotten into the shipping business, it's so they're like, well, there's no need for for the United States Post Office. Okay, so what they want to do, and that's one of the hallmarks of Republican economics, is to divest things from the government, which is really a lie. To take all the things away from the government and put it into the private sector. Why? So that they can make money. All right. So they have private companies taking over the things that the government used to do. But it's also dangerous. Why is it dangerous? Because now I can give my boy the contract, I can, and that's why we have all of this stuff, that's why we have Jared Kushner running companies and all this kind of stuff that are supposed to be for the country and for the people. He had contracts to develop the test for coronavirus. He had contracts, for everything. So that's why I'm trying to tell y'all, you got to be very, very careful with what you do. I mean, I'm not saying I'm not for a whole lot of government regulation, but then again, you still got to have something in place so that, just like a lot of the stuff that's going on, Trump is actually personally benefiting. Him and his family are benefiting, and he's got his whole family working in the White House. It's unprecedented. It really is. So we don't really, that's not really how we roll. So this whole thing talking about, well, we got to hold the Democrats accountable. Well, the Democrats did their job. They impeached Trump. The Republicans made sure that he stayed in office. All right. Democrats tried to, now the only thing that I can hold the Democrats accountable for was that they didn't, I don't think they worked hard enough to try to stop the tax bill. Okay, where now all the Republicans, it's like it was reported that it was 282 trillion dollars. Okay, basically, or 280 billion dollars, richer. That's how much more money conservative Republicans got as a result of the tax bill. Okay, whereas we're all, because I'm not no billionaire. Everybody who's not a billionaire, even if you're a millionaire, you lost like a huge amount of your money. All right, and see, these are the things that they're not telling you in the news cycle every day. In the news cycle, and then I saw another person that does post about, yeah, the stock market has gone up, but the stock market it lost all the gains that it had. So it was so far down that the only place it can go is up. And the other thing is, be careful. You got to be careful about investing in the stock market right now. Why? Because the economy is not real. And then what I mean by that is the economy is not real because we're still on quarantine. And while we're on quarantine, people are not buying and selling and doing things on a normal basis. And the other thing is the amount of money that we have lost during the recession. The fact that right now, I mean, there's like every week, there's like, 5 million people applying for unemployment. And most of them, in a lot of states, some of them are not actually getting the unemployment money. All right. Because there's no money. And we're already, and the Federal Reserve, once again, I've talked about this before, the Federal Reserve is basically printing money. It's not backed by anything. They're releasing, they're basically releasing $1 trillion into the economy. And some people say it's like daily. But who's getting that money? It's not us. And they're giving giving us, and millionaires who are in the upper, like bordering on being like super rich are getting between whoever you believe, 1.6 and 1.7 million dollars. 1.6 and 1.7 million dollars. That's a lot of money. Okay, so they have, in other words, they have the money to ride the storm out. So Diddy, when you're talking all this stuff, it's like, look, this is not the election to be holding people accountable. This is the election to correct what's wrong right now. But see, the thing is that we can't see what's wrong right now because everybody's on quarantine. And look, and I'm seeing just here in where I live, I'm seeing there are businesses that are going out of business. There are more and more people on the streets begging, on the street corners begging, talk about, I lost everything due to coronavirus and everything else. There are, restaurants and bars and clubs and everything else that are closing up, because they don't have it. A lot of these mom and pop businesses are not going to be able to withstand the storm. And we're all, like I said, we're already, depending on who you talk to, we're between 25 and 30 trillion dollars in debt. Trillion. And this time I'm right. It's trillion. So 25 to 30 trillion dollars in debt. They're printing fake money. Okay, and the whole world knows that money is not backed by anything. The food supply chain is breaking down. Okay, there's another factor that we put in there, because why? Because we don't have anybody here in order to process food like we used to, because we've kicked all of the illegals out. And those are the jobs that they had, y'all. Not, and like I said, I'm not being racist at all, but those are their jobs. So we need to get democratic. Every time, see, the Republicans have they cause a scandal or cause a catastrophic event like 9/11, Hurricane Katrina. Think about when all of these things happen, and then they botch it up. Then what do? The next thing is going to come, even though they say they don't like government regulation. The next thing is government regulation to take away your rights, to restrict what you can do. So TSA and all those type of things, where now you can't even take toothpaste on the airplane, and nobody went on an airplane with toothpaste and they flew the plane into the building to buy, it's like, look, y'all, it's not the same thing. Okay. But, so now we have Homeland Security, which is not really securing us, because and that's another thing. Homeland Security is supposed to also have a component which deals with what? Biological warfare and all that kind of stuff, but we don't have it. So we just don't have that stuff in place. So Diddy, this is not the election. This is the election. We need to get these conservatives out of there. And the other thing is, we need to vote in all these states where you have like Mitch McConnell and people like that, get them out of there, and replace them with Democrats, so that the next time we got somebody crazy in office and we need to impeach them and we need to remove them from office, we can do it. The only reason why we didn't remove Trump from office, Trump would be gone. The only reason why Trump is not gone is because we don't have enough votes. Same thing, and then they try to bring up all these sections. The president has at least 14 to 17 sexual assault allegations. The president, but nobody talks about that. They want to talk about everybody else. Even then, they didn't talk about Denzel Washington. This man been married all his life. It's like, come on, man. So. But the president got at least between 14 and 17 allegations, and some of them are lie. And some of them they're saying that they can prove with DNA. Go look it up. I'm not lying on them. That they can prove with DNA that he did it. So I'm just saying, it's a double standard out there. Anyway, fastest 15 minutes is up. It's early in the morning. Anyway, I love y'all. But Diddy, this is not the election to be hold people accountable. This is the election to get us out of Republican domination and tyranny. Anyway, fast 15 minutes. Hit the like button, like, subscribe, share, all of that. Love you.